ladies and gentlemen, to Long Box Chronicles month here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, I'm checking out a film from 2014. That movie is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Now, I actually had a chance to recently read the comic that this is based on, or rather the story arc that this movie is loosely based on. And I really, really liked it. I seriously thought it was a strong comic. Now, I know that they're going to carry over almost nothing from that comic into this film because they have to shoehorn this into Marvel's cinematic universe, so a lot of stuff's going to have to be cut or altered or completely changed. And that's totally fine. I also happen to remember the trailers for this looking really good, and I absolutely loved the first Captain America movie, which I still say is the best out of all the Phase 1 Marvel films. So I'm hoping for this one to be as good as the first one, but I have no idea, and the only way I'm going to find out if this thing's any good is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Captain America: The Winter Soldier. You know, guys, it is really cool to see that S.H.I.E.L.D. has 3 all-new Helicarriers. Why is it, though, that I have this funny feeling that by the end of this movie, at least one of them is going to have crashed? Actually, I have a feeling that all 3 of them are going to be a pile of scrap by the end of the movie. I don't know why. It's just this weird hunch I have. Still, really cool to see 3 fucking Helicarriers in one massive cargo, bay. That just looks amazing. Funny, I never really thought I would see a movie where Nick Fury is opening fire on police in the middle of Washington, D.C. That just comes off as so ridiculously wrong, and he's still shooting them. Nick Fury is actively killing D.C. cops. At least I'm going to assume this is in D.C. He's actively killing D.C. cops in broad fucking daylight. I totally understand that the D.C. cops attacked him first, but still, it's kind of fucked up to think that Nick Fury has a minigun inside his SUV, and he used it to open fire on police in broad daylight. That just seems so fucked up, guys. Okay, I have a question. I understand it's going to be kind of a stupid one, but Fury was just shot. Why the hell wasn't he wearing any kind of vest? And I'm not talking about standard, like, Kevlar vest. This is a universe where there are 2 metals that are almost impenetrable. Those being adamantium and vibranium. Why the hell didn't he have some kind of a vest made by those? Are you telling me that Stark, S.H.I.E.L.D., nobody can make vests out of those 2 metals to kind of stop this sort of goofy shit from happening? I understand, guys, that this is a real minor nothing, and Fury may very well be dying right now, but still, it is somewhat a valid point. Why didn't he have, like, a vibranium or adamantium vest when he knew that people were after him? Or, shit, just simply the fact that you work for S.H.I.E.L.D., you would think you would have that kind of thing on you at almost all times. Again, it's just something that's just kind of bugging me a little bit. You know, guys, this actually is sort of weird. I went into this movie expecting just another superhero film, and I haven't gotten that. Instead, what I've gotten is a very well-written, at least so far well-written, political thriller, and I'm absolutely digging that. I honestly had no idea that was what was... I had no idea that was what I was getting myself into, but goddammit, I'm really happy that I'm getting into this. Now, I have a bit of a question, guys. Now, earlier in the film, they basically came right out and said that, similar to the comics, the Winter Soldier is supposed to be this silent, like, ghost who is able to kill off targets and leave absolutely no trace. Why is it now, then, when he's going after Cap, Falcon, and Widow, that he has A, hit squad, B, is taking them out in broad daylight, C, is doing it in the middle of a busy fucking interstate? You know, like, none of this fits the Winter Soldier's MO of being a silent fucking assassin, of being essentially a ghost. This is like the absolute opposite of a ghost. And just as like a side comment, with all the fucking gunplay, explosions, and obnoxious product placement, this thing feels less and less like a Marvel film, and feels more like something that was churned out of Michael fucking Bay's, cavernous colon of questionable shit. I'm certainly hoping that all the shit with the Winter Soldier gets better, but so far, guys, it's kind of a bit of a letdown. Guys, I actually was sort of waiting. I was sort of waiting to see Stan's fucking cameo. I'm really happy I saw it. And it's finally good to see that Captain America's finally in a costume that actually looks like Captain America's costume instead of some dark, edgy bullshit that just doesn't fit the Captain America character. It's good to see he's back in his old costume. That makes me almost as happy as seeing the Stan Lee cameo. Now, hold on a second here. I have a question. First of all, why the hell did my sound just fucking drop out? But okay, that was weird. I had silence there for a bit. Might just be a problem with my disc. How the hell did Nick Fury get into SHIELD HQ by helicopter when there's a massive fuck-off air, battle going on directly overhead? Seems just a little bit weird. Then again, also the fact that the sound dropped out on my Blu-ray also seemed incredibly fucking weird. I'm gonna have to check that later. Still, it doesn't make sense for Fury to just sort of saunter in by fucking, helicopter with absolutely no escort, no help, no nothing, when everything around SHIELD HQ is blowing up. It just doesn't feel right to me. Well, guys, that was Captain America the Winter Soldier. Let me shut that off. Alright, and before anyone says that I should stay and I should watch the post-friggin' credit sequence, because we know every Marvel film has those, I don't do that for this series, because my rule's always been, as soon as I see credits, I stop the movie. Whatever the hell happens during the credits, or even after the credits, has no bearing on my review. I'm probably going to watch the post-credit sequence when I'm done filming this. So, where to begin? Writing. Let's talk about the writing. As I stated at the start of this video, the first Captain America movie, I loved the first Captain America movie. I thought it was the best out of all of the Phase 1 Marvel films. I haven't had a chance to watch a whole lot of the Phase 2 films, mainly because most of the Phase 2 films look absolutely awful. But the two I was interested enough in seeing, this one and Thor 2, were both amazing movies. But this one does have a couple of problems, and a lot of it is in the writing. You see, what I loved about Captain America, the First Avenger, was that the movie knew exactly what it wanted to be. It wanted to be a superhero film set during World War II and in the European theater. They wanted to set up the perfect atmosphere for a Captain America and Red Skull square-off, and it worked amazingly. The movie was awesome because of that. Unfortunately, this movie has no earthly clue what the hell it wants to be. Now, when I say that, I mean it doesn't know if it wants to be just a superhero film in Marvel's usual style. It doesn't know if it wants to just be a bland, big shit, go boom action film. It doesn't know if it wants to be a political thriller. It doesn't know if it wants to be an espionage thriller. It doesn't know if it just wants to be a 2-hour ad with some of the most obnoxious product placement this side of a Michael Bay film. It has no idea what the hell it wants to be, and because of that, it leaves the film feeling incredibly schizo, and the tone will shift from scene to scene, because certain scenes are going to play up are going to play up the superhero end of it. Other scenes are going to play up the political thriller end of it. Other ones are going to play up the big shit go boom action end of it. And because of that, the film feels just incredibly unhinged, and it feels almost like, it really does feel as if there were like 7 different versions of this script, and they just decided to sort of string like scenes from each one in. So that much is a little bit of an issue. Now the movie is still good, but it would have been a hell of a lot better if they would have selected maybe 1 or 2 of those genres and just tried to run with those instead of trying to run with all of them and leaving everything a jumbled, fumbled mess. I would like to say that I absolutely loved the twist. The twist that they threw in at about the halfway point would have been even better if every single fuckwit on the internet didn't absolutely insist on spoiling it for me before I even had a chance to watch it. But it was still a very well written twist, and I did certainly like it. So we do have that, and our characters are fleshed out really well, except for the Winter Soldier. The Winter Soldier, for what it's worth, guys, the Winter Soldier in this film, you could have completely cut him out of the movie, and you wouldn't have changed shit. You honest to God wouldn't have, because it would still have been the villains sending out a fucking hit squad to go after Cap, Falcon, and Widow on the highway. It's just that we wouldn't have had the one-armed fucking emo there. It would have just been another hitman amongst the crew. In short, you could have totally swapped out the Winter Soldier for, say, like, Crossbones, and you wouldn't have fucking missed a thing. It would have been the exact same film with literally zero change outside of a little bit of dialogue from Cap involving the Winter Soldier's past. And no, I really don't want to spoil that for, like, the 5 of you who have no idea about the Winter Soldier's history. So it would have been nice if we would have gotten a little bit more depth involving the Winter Soldier. It would have been nice if the Winter Soldier would have had a little bit more impact and a little bit more involvement in the film. I will say, though, that this thing, compared to the Winter Soldier comic arc, I will say that at least here the Winter Soldier puts up a hell of a lot more of a fight when he has to square off one-on-one against Cap, because in the comic it was a little bit of a letdown. At least they were able to, bump it up a little bit and actually make it a rather interesting and promising fight. Until the end. The end was kind of shit. But oh well, I'm not gonna let that faze me much. Writing here, like I said, really good. It's really strong. I just wish that our title villain was given a little bit more time and a little bit more depth. And I kind of wish that the film would have picked one or two genres and stuck with them, as opposed to trying to be this massive mishmash of genres that leaves everything kind of sort of a mess. So we do have that. Acting. Well, I did find a problem with the acting, with one actor, in fact, and that is Scarlett Johansson. I have said this for a long time. I can't stand her. I've yet to see her put on any kind of a performance that is in any way good. And that is made worse when you give her a character as dull, as worthless, and as boring as Black Widow. Because you then have a wooden actress playing a worthless character, and it's going to wind up being a little bit of a pain every time that she is on camera. Barring that one real questionable casting choice, which I wish that the Marvel series would have not done in the first place, everything else here in terms of acting is really solid. I absolutely loved how everybody came into the film. I absolutely love how Samuel L. Jackson and Chris Evans and Redford and everyone else just came in and did an amazing job, especially since Evans had to carry a whole lot of Widow's scenes, so that sort of shows me that the man is a very gifted actor when even he's able to make her look at least passable by carrying her that much through every scene that the two of them share. Now, beyond that, though, the acting is good. I do want to talk about the product placement. I mentioned it earlier. This thing has some of the most obnoxious product placement I have ever seen. It is so bad that I have to bring it up here, and I normally don't talk about product placement, but guys, when you have an entire scene which is set inside of a fucking Apple store for literally no other reason than to show off a few hundred Apple fucking logos on screen at once, and the fact that every single car in DC, and I mean every last fucking car, truck, SUV, and van, are all Chevy, are all Chevy vehicles, and the few of them that aren't Chevy are still fucking GM vehicles. The very fact that apparently nobody's able to work out in just a plain shirt. No. It has to be Under Armour, or it has to be Nike. The fact that we have this flash, drive that plays this really vital role early on in the film, and it gets hidden in a vending machine for no other reason than for the camera to zoom in as close as possible and show all of those fine Wrigley's products that are all sitting inside the vending machine. Absolutely none of that had to be there. None. And all of it is there, and it is so blatant that it will pull you out of the film. It really just felt like something that did not have to be there, especially considering the fact that this is a major studio film, and it's from Marvel, and it's from Disney. They didn't need the extra money from product placement, this fucking badly. It really just stunk of just fucking desperation and horse shit, and it almost ruined a movie that was beyond that, at least fairly decent. Trying to think of anything else I can talk about. The sound mix is really good. I'm still not sure why the sound on my Blu-ray cut for about 10, maybe 15 seconds. I still have not gone back and double-checked that scene, because it might just be a flaw on my disc. However, though, beyond that one technical hitch, the sound mix here is fine. Our soundtrack is good. Our score is awesome. Our lighting is fantastic. Ultimately, guys, it really is everything that it is everything that you could look for in a Marvel film. Oh, I do have to talk about costuming. I am really happy with the fact that everybody's costumes look amazing, especially the Winter Soldier's costuming looks awesome. It would have been nice if Falcon had a little bit more color instead of being all black. It would have been nice if Captain America's uniform actually looked like Captain America's fucking uniform through the first half, instead of being this almost totally black fucking suit. Thankfully, though, he goes and he raids his old costume from the fucking Smithsonian for the final act of the film. Otherwise, he would have looked kind of shit, because I didn't like the new Captain America costume personally. Costuming here, though, is for the most part really good, and it is certainly worth mentioning. Guys, when all is said and done, am I able to recommend Captain America: The Winter Soldier? Certainly, yes. I do have to warn that it is nowhere near as good as the first Captain America film, and it is. But I will say that it is at least better than. Let's see. I can certainly say that it is better than Iron Man, and it is better than Avengers, and it's better than Thor 2. At least it's better than those. It's still nowhere near as good as Thor. It's nowhere near as good as the first Captain America film, but at least it's certainly watchable. And this sucker is going to definitely have a happy spot in my Blu-ray collection. Now, Captain America: The Winter Soldier came off the Amazon wishlist. The person who sent it in was Ariel, not a girl. You can find his YouTube channel at youtube.com/user/TVBRobotnikReturns. Ariel, I thank you. Sorry, Ariel, not a girl. I thank you. I was really curious about this movie, specifically because I absolutely loved the first Captain America movie. I was really looking forward to seeing the sequel. I missed out on it when it was in theaters, and so I had to fall back on reaction and review to watch it. And thanks to you, I had my chance, and the movie wound up being really good. And for that, I thank you for sending it in. Once more, that is youtube.com/user/TVBRobotnikReturns. Please, guys, swing over there and check out everything that he has. Now, after watching this, I kind of feel like watching a couple more Marvel films, specifically Captain America and Thor, because those are my two favorite ones from phase 1. Perhaps maybe at some point I will get off my lazy ass and start watching the other films from phase 2, but I kind of have my doubts on that. Anyway, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.